Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to hear me today, not just with your ears but with your spirit, because someone told you you're not enough. Someone made you believe that you're too broken, too loud, too soft, too late, too flawed to matter. But let me tell you something, they lied. You are enough, not someday, not when you get it all figured out, but right now. Right where you stand with all your scars, your setbacks, your struggles. You are more than enough. You see, I know what it feels like to doubt yourself. I know what it's like to shrink so the world can feel comfortable around you. I know what it's like to live in the shadows of what if and maybe. But I came here today to shake your soul a little bit, to remind you of the power you've buried underneath your fear, because the truth is, you don't need permission to be great. You don't need validation to walk in purpose. All you need is to remember who you are and start acting like it. From the moment we're born, the world starts teaching us to look outside of ourselves for approval. As children, we're praised when we behave, rewarded when we follow rules, and often corrected when we show too much individuality. Slowly, without even realizing it, we begin to build our identity around the reactions of others. We seek applause to feel worthy, we chase compliments to feel beautiful, we pursue achievements not just to grow, but to be accepted. And somewhere in that chase, we forget one powerful truth. We were already enough before the applause, before the achievements, before the world placed its opinions on us. Validation is not evil, but when your sense of self becomes dependent on how others see you, you start living a life that isn't truly yours. You start dressing for them, speaking for them, shrinking for them. And when their approval doesn't come, or when it fades, your self-worth feels like it's fading too. This cycle is draining, exhausting, and endless, because no matter how many people applaud you, if you haven't accepted yourself from the inside, you'll always feel like something is missing. And that missing piece isn't more success, it's not more praise, it's self-recognition. When you stop seeking external validation, something incredible happens. You begin to trust your own voice. You begin to listen to your inner knowing, the voice that says, I am good enough, I am strong enough, I am worthy now. That voice has been there all along, but it was drowned out by the noise of everyone else's opinions. Reclaiming your worth means turning down the volume on the world and tuning into the truth that was planted inside of you before you even learned how to speak. You were never meant to be a copy of someone else. Your voice, your mind, your soul were crafted with purpose. The moment you stop asking the world for permission to be yourself, you take your power back. You stop living small. You stop explaining who you are. You stop waiting for someone to say, you're good enough now. Because you realize no one else can give you something you were born with. This shift is not about arrogance, it's about alignment. It's about no longer attaching your value to likes, to titles, to attention. It's about walking into every room knowing that your presence matters, even if no one claps. It's about being so rooted in your worth that rejection doesn't shake you and silence doesn't scare you. There is a lie that many people carry deep within them, planted by criticism, past trauma, rejection, or failure. The lie that their flaws and mistakes disqualify them from being enough. That somehow, because of what they've been through or the choices they've made, they are less worthy, less lovable, or less capable than others. But the truth is this. Your flaws are not failures, and your mistakes are not the end of your story. They are proof that you've lived, you've tried, you've dared, and you've grown. Every scar you carry is a lesson, every error is a stepping stone, and every so-called weakness holds a hidden strength that the world has yet to see. We've been conditioned to present only our polished sides to the world, to hide the cracks, mask the imperfections, and deny the wounds. But the problem with pretending to be flawless is that it disconnects you from your real power. Real confidence doesn't come from perfection. It comes from authenticity. It's found in the person who can stand tall and say, yes, I've been hurt. Yes, I've failed. Yes, I've been afraid, but I'm still here and I'm still worthy. Owning your story means no longer apologizing for being human. It means embracing the parts of you that are still healing, still learning, still figuring it out. When you embrace your flaws, you stop giving them power over you. They no longer become something you're ashamed of. They become a source of wisdom and strength. Think about it, the most inspiring people in the world are not the ones who have never stumbled. They're the ones who fell, got back up, and used their experience to fuel their growth. They didn't let shame bury them. They didn't let fear silence them. They stood up, they owned their truth, and they kept moving forward. There is nothing more powerful than a person who has accepted their past, forgiven themselves, and chosen to rise anyway. That kind of person can walk into any room without needing to prove anything. They don't wear a mask. They don't pretend to have it all together. They are real, raw, and grounded in who they are. And that kind of authenticity is magnetic. People are drawn to those who are unapologetically themselves because it gives them permission to do the same. Your mistakes don't define you unless you let them. Your worth is not up for negotiation based on your past. You are not the sum total of your regrets. You are a complex, beautiful work in progress. And progress is more powerful than perfection ever will be. Every lesson you've learned has shaped you into someone wiser. Every tear you've shed has watered the soil for your growth. Every detour you've taken has brought you closer to your true path. But to access that power, you have to stop fighting your past and start owning it. Not to stay there, not to dwell in guilt, but to use it. To let it sharpen your vision and deepen your strength. When you stop rejecting your flaws and start embracing them, you become unstoppable. Because nothing anyone says about you can hurt you more than the things you've already healed from. No criticism can break you when you've made peace with the parts of you that used to bring you shame. That's how you build unshakable confidence. That's how you move through life with courage, not by pretending to be perfect, but by knowing that even in your imperfection, you are already enough. So many people waste years trying to erase their mistakes, trying to rewrite history, trying to become someone the world will finally approve of. But the truth is, you don't need to become someone else to be worthy. You don't need to hide your pain or filter your story to deserve love, success, or happiness. You just need to own every chapter of your journey, even the messy ones, especially the messy ones, because those are the chapters that made you strong. Those are the chapters that taught you resilience. Those are the chapters that gave you depth, empathy, and wisdom that no textbook ever could. When you finally recognize that you are enough, the next step is not just believing it, it's acting like it. You can't keep waiting for the world to hand you permission to live boldly. You can't keep holding yourself back, shrinking your voice, or settling for less because of fear. If you truly know your worth, it should reflect in your actions, your choices, your boundaries, and your energy. Acting like you are enough means showing up for yourself without hesitation. It means walking into every space with the inner knowing that you deserve to be there, not because someone invited you, but because you brought yourself. Too many people carry dreams, gifts, and talents they never fully express because deep down, they're still doubting themselves. They think they need to become someone else, or wait until they're more confident, more ready, more perfect. But confidence isn't built by waiting, it's built by doing. You gain confidence by stepping out even when you're scared, by choosing action over overthinking, and by deciding that fear will not be the ruler of your life. Every small step you take in alignment with your worth is a declaration to the world, and more importantly to yourself, that you are done playing small. Acting like you are enough is not about arrogance. It's about showing up with integrity, presence, and boldness. It's about trusting your instincts, speaking your truth, and refusing to let people treat you like you're less than what you are. It's about knowing your boundaries and not being afraid to enforce them. When you believe you're enough, you no longer tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or neglect. You don't beg for love. You don't chase approval. You don't water yourself down to be liked. You walk in truth. You stand tall. You lead your life with purpose, not permission. This shift is uncomfortable at first because the world often teaches us to be quiet, to be agreeable, to wait our turn. But when you begin to act from your worth, you'll notice a shift in how people respond to you. You'll attract different conversations, different opportunities, different energy, not because anything around you changed, but because you did. The moment you start acting like you are enough, people either rise to meet you or fall away. And both are blessings. Acting like you are enough cleans out your life. It removes the noise, the fakeness, and the things that no longer match the level you're now choosing to live on. Every decision becomes an opportunity to act from your worth. How you start your day, how you talk to yourself, what you say yes or no to, it all sends a message. When you say yes to things that honor your value, you affirm yourself. When you say no to what drains or diminishes you, you create space for something greater. You don't wait for the right moment. You create the moment by taking bold steps in alignment with your truth. You don't keep hiding your gifts. You share them even if they're not perfect yet. You stop performing and start being. Because the world doesn't need another mask, it needs more people who are real, grounded, and fully awake in their own skin. Acting like you are enough doesn't mean life will be easy. You will still face challenges, disappointments, and moments of self-doubt. But the difference is, you no longer collapse in the face of adversity. You no longer question your worth every time something goes wrong. You stand firm, you keep moving, you remind yourself, I am not defined by this moment. I am defined by how I rise through it. That's the power of acting like you are enough. You become resilient, unshaken, anchored in your identity. And the beautiful thing is, when you start acting like you are enough, you give others permission to do the same. Your boldness becomes a mirror for others to see their own strength. Your authenticity becomes an invitation for others to drop their masks. That's how change spreads, not through perfection, but through presence. Through one person deciding to live from the truth of their worth, regardless of what the world says. Through one life being lived fully, unapologetically, and courageously. So now is the time to stop shrinking, stop apologizing, and stop waiting for someone else to tell you what you already know deep down. You are enough, not because of what you've achieved or how flawless you appear, but simply because you exist. Every scar, every setback, every step you've taken has shaped a person who is more than capable, more than worthy, and more than ready. So walk boldly. Speak truthfully, love yourself fiercely, and live each day as if you are already whole. Because you are. The world doesn't need a perfect version of you. It needs the real you, the powerful you, the you who finally believes it, and more importantly, starts acting like it.